All right, hold on. I'll swing in. I know we're live here on Couch. We'll check it out. Oh, call the spaceship to Davenport. Prepare for a div anarchy and interface with the couch in space. It's space couch time once again. Great to have you all. Let's see if I unplugged the mic here. Oh, don't look. Nope, I didn't. No space calamities. Love it. Love it. What's up to Roy? Uh, love what you got going on Twitter there, Roy, with your upcoming Commodore 64 games. And love seeing you all out there in the chat. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Space Couch. Welcome to space. It's a Vic 20 game, says Roy. Well, space. Let's do that. Space is, of course, brought to you by our patrons. Gozer Games, the best in the business. I Hate Artists, cover artist now for some gasoline stuff. Lured by Radio, my friend from high school. Don, I love you on Twitter, man. Grim Reaper for Hire, we love you. Bremley, Ray, Fly Ahead, see you in December. Walter, best leather worker in town. Hunt Hent Hawk, how much for a second one for the Ditch 2? Lich on Twitch. Get your name in the credits there at patreon.com/gothsicles. That's a Tiger Squawk digital product. Patreon.com/gothsicles. We are, of course, also sponsored. Quick shout out to the Best Friends Animal Shelter, the best no-kill animal shelter in town. Also, my blood is that of not only a tiger, but a weird tiger bird hybrid or whatever a Tiger Squawk is. Yes, it's Tiger Squawk Records. Our big advertisers, of course, is the new Melting Rust opera with our own science fiction, new Gasoline Invertebrate, Play, the soundtrack for the Play game. Church of Bryantology Volume 3 is free on Bandcamp. Definitely's back with Descent number 2. You want to check out Isserly with Red Tiles. Then we have Amalgamated Cadaver live and feral. Back to Isserly with Circus of Fear, the original soundtrack. Melting Rust Opera also has Neue Trauma. Back to Amalgamated with Live from the Dentist's Office. Then it's Isserly again with Erotomania, just kicking out those OSTs. Hollow Form is the newest signing, or Orthocaris with Necro Signals. So much great stuff. DJ D42, love you on Twitch there. Guest of the show. As well as Roy. So we have all the guests up in here, ladies and gentlemen. No stranger to the show, our guest today, but it's always big for me. Kind of, not kind of, very much a mentor, friend. Don't know if I. The importance of this human to me cannot be overstated, but we'll bring him in now in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome fucked it up. Zubon Rock.
Baby!
What do you have? Oh, Bootsy!
I got Bootsy! Thank you for Bootsy.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I sent... for the listener, I sent Carl a housewarming gift of a Bootsy Collins action figure.
So, you know that the back of this, you can actually turn it into Bootsy glasses.
That's amazing. Somebody got the corner office for that one.
Dude, like, is there anything else you need besides Bootsy glasses?
Bootsy glasses and a Bootsy
no, there is not.
Figure. Well, we'll get into that.
What the
I
fuck?
yeah, with the welcome back to
Thank
Space
you.
Couch, man. Um, well, let's
Brian, I love your balls.
thank you. Oh, you're the first person to say that in the ball
Really?
pit era. Thank you
I
so
love your
much.
balls. I'd like to
I
dive into your balls.
you are welcome
They look
to
so soft. Are they soft
s-
balls? You've got
they
great balls.
they are firm yet giving.
They
Um,
are. They're just spurting with joy.
they well, speaking of joy or potentially not, let's let's do this. Let's start with the new thing, or maybe not. What is the in a way that I can only describe as Bowie-esque.
Thank you.
The I don't know we've talked about that individual a fair amount. The Angel Spit sort of experience goes through very sort of demarcated phases, and I'm wondering what you feel like the Angel Spit experience in 2023 is.
Um, I think the Angel Spit in 2023 experience is outside. It's the Outside Bowie album where he was
Okay.
exploring with cyberpunk, which is incidentally my favorite Bowie album.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome.
I love that
I love
album.
Outside. Yeah.
I fucking love it. And I I don't want to give up on Tin Man because there was some important stuff in there. Every time you say Tin Man, people start laughing hysterically. But yeah, I just that whole sampling ethos, maybe a bit of Earthling, but maybe mainly
Okay.
outside
All right. Yeah.
because it was
Interesting.
dark. It was very dark. Um,
Yeah, and like with the like the Tin Machine stuff, where he's just like, I don't know what this is now. Like it got
no,
really weird.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um, so that's what I guess if I was a Ziggy, that's
Yeah.
that's that's where I'd be now. It's the 11th album, so
Really?
yeah.
Well, let's get into that. Tell me
Um,
about the well, what we call the Star, or alternatively the Bastard Gods.
the first thing is I came up with the name with Steve Archer from Ego Likeness like 10 years ago because we found a name that was possibly a band name that sounded awesome no matter
The
what accent you say it in. Like in American, say it in American.
Bastard Gods.
Sounds great. In Australia, it's the Bastard Gods, and in England, it's the Bastard Gods. I can't
Yeah.
say it very well. I have a terrible
You're
English
right.
accent, but in every accent, it sounds great because
Okay.
some bands sound naff in different accents.
Right.
Um, so, and that just stayed there, and we were going to start a band actually. Sorry, Steve. And it's really funny when I decided to call it Bastard Gods. I texted Steve and said, "Look, is it all right if I call it the Bastard
Oh, I
Gods?"
didn't know that. Wow.
Anyway, yeah, go for it. But so this one is about being really fucking heavy, and it's about lots of Emacs, which is over there, but it's
Uh
fuzzy.
huh.
Um,
You're talking technically. This
I'm
that's
talking technically, yeah. There's a lot of Emacs. I'm always inspired by Depeche Mode,
oh
and
wow. Okay.
uh, possibly one of my biggest influences.
No kidding.
Specifically, yeah, Alan Wilder and what he did with an Emacs.
So
And
for the listener, this is a sampler,
this is a
but it's like,
sampler.
and it's a pain in the dick to use just because it's from the
Yeah,
'90s,
from the 80s,
from the
87,
'80s.
86.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing about this sampler is, you say something into it and it plays it back or a drum loop or whatever. But the thing about it is that it is extremely low quality
Mm.
and it has this much memory. So you can store your samples on half a meg.
Okay.
So the whole time of your samples is half a meg. So putting it into perspective, that's 20 seconds of total sample
Yeah.
time. So that's your drums, your synths, and everything has to fit into
Wow.
a total of 20 seconds.
But
Um,
like at home, think about you're trying to fit your entire electronic band into like a McDonald's Happy Meal, like Shrek 2 fucking toy.
yeah,
With like that's the amount of sampling time you got,
yeah.
and so you're working with that. It go
The more sample time you get is if you lower the quality.
right.
So one thing I did in this album is everything is low quality. and it's 16 kilohertz. Now, putting that into perspective, when you listen to a CD is 44.1 kilohertz. So this is quite below. This is about a third the quality of a CD. Plus, a CD is 16-bit, which means it's kind of pretty good quality. The sampler of this one is 8-bit, which means it's crunchy and
Wow.
dirty. So you
So
put
that's why you do it.
Oh yeah, and you
Okay.
put anything into this machine, and it comes out sounding like Front 242, Depeche Mode,
Okay.
early Ministry, Twitch. And it's because of all these limitations and everything else. I'm going to build loops from me banging pieces of metal, like what we used to do in the olden days of industrial music.
Yeah.
Um, and like banging springs, and when you bang the springs, there's this funny little melody in it. Bing, 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 bing,
Mm.
bing, 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 bing. Well, I'm
Right.
going to turn that into a song, and then when you distort that,
Wow.
the distortion takes that and it makes it bigger. It makes it brings out the harmonics so you can hear it more. And I did other fun things like to create a loop, like a drum loop. I got a water bottle, and I actually have it over there somewhere, like a great big bloody water bottle that it's like a 10, 20 gallon water bottle, plastic water bottle,
Wow.
and dropped it down the stairs.
Get out.
Yeah, and just recorded that. And
That's
what, yeah,
amazing.
and what was interesting about it is,
Einzelstände.
yeah, hardcore. And what's interesting about that is that mathematically, when something's falling downstairs, it's going to fall on a factor of 2, 4, and 8, which is fundamental to building a beat. So everything I did, every time I dropped the water bottle down the stairs, it created a loop, a usable loop. And it had a groove. Because that falls into golden proportion and gravity and all of these other fantastic things. And because it was in a stairwell, as the water bottle hit, it caused this beautiful reverb called a slap back reverb. And that's a really punchy drum sound. Incidentally, when you get I don't have a bloody USB key in front of me. When you get the ANGELSPIT album, there's an option to get the USB key, and all of the sample libraries are on that USB key, including classical drum machines and recordings of me bashing shit. Um,
Oh,
and I think there's some Emacs files on there as well. But
I got to jump in for just 1 second here because that is an incredibly fascinating amount of information. But I do want to jump in and say that yes, that is the kind of difference that I learned from you that um, you're getting. That's the kind of insane value added bonus you get when you jump on an Angel Spit Kickstarter. You get the Emacs loops that they made from dropping a water bottle down a staircase. No other industrial band is going to give you that granular level of what's the word, access, a
yeah,
window into your heart. Like just if you see an Angel Spit Kickstarter, you know you're in a good place. 11th album in, the Bastard Gods. I'm sorry, I just had to jump in because you really ignited something in my own heart, where it's just like like from a fan perspective. Thank you for putting all that stuff in the USB key. It's not just a collection of your songs.
thanks. I just put the link in there for Twitchites, but yeah, and it's something I want to do. Hopefully, at some point soon, when everything calms down a bit, is I want to send out remix packs.
Okay,
And what I want to do is, instead of sending out stems, like send out the vocal stems, send out the actual remix pack.
okay,
And so, okay, you got the vocals, and here are a bunch of samples. Put them in your sampler and come up
okay.
with something. Um, and that's what that was from and that ecthos of samplers, and then running them through distortion pedals. Like, actually, you inspired me with your old
Mm.
what was that green thing you had? You still have it?
Oh God.
Your green overdrive pedal, your
Yeah,
distortion.
yeah. I forgot what. I was just a bit crusher, I think. I can't
No, no,
remember,
it's
but
that thing is a really bloody good distortion unit.
yeah, okay,
So then I got a whole bunch of, like, typical Boss DS1s,
yeah.
SD1s, all that shit. Um, and I had to also get a DI unit, getting a bit technical
Mm.
now, because samplers and synthesizers are quite loud, but distortion pedals want to hear a quiet input from a guitar. So I had to do all this fuckery.
Oh,
Distorted
hey.
everything coming off the Emaxes, so it had this really gritty sound. Then, and that's a real late '80s cyberpunk approach to things. Um,
Hmm.
then I got the blaster beam. So the blaster beam is a 6 foot long piece of aluminium with 11 piano wires on it. The thickest one is, excuse me, as thick as my finger. And
What?
yeah, they all vibrate on their Steinway grand piano
This is
strings
like
because
in your home?
yeah, it's I don't have it set it up. I've just
Okay,
moved.
that's
I don't.
okay. I believe you, but
Um,
like I know you just moved, but okay, so not only did he drop a water bottle down this, like, this is an industrial album, not like musically. Like you built shit.
yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I'm always building shit, but this one, the blaster beam is really good fun. So there's 11 strings. The lowest one vibrates at 20 cycles, so a low E, and that's at the
Shit your pants.
Yeah, it's shit your pants, Phil. It's the threshold of hearing. It just sounds like, and when you play the thing, the room vibrates because aluminium or aluminum has a specific resonance and acoustic property to it, i.e., it's loud because of the way the aluminum crystals are aligned within the aluminum beam itself. So at 6 foot long, there's one that's low E, which is 20 cycles. Then there are four that are E above it, which is 40 cycles. This is low. I think the lowest string on a bass guitar is 80 cycles, and there are six that are vibrating at 80 cycles. So
So,
it's 2 octaves below a bass guitar.
ugh.
Um,
Think of the lowest, nastiest bass guitar you can,
yeah,
and then
and
put it
then
on creatine.
okay, so yet more. I got a bunch of friends to help me with putting pickups on it because I don't know about that shit.
Uh huh.
So I got these two beautiful things. My mate Dustin, who's at he actually restores guitars and he like knows all of
Cool.
this shit. He sent me these two pickups called soapboxes, 6 inches long, and they're diagonally set, and they're kind of like a really a hybrid of a humbucker.
Okay.
And they're beautiful. And there's two of them. Then there's two like rock and roll humbuckers.
Okay.
And then there's two sub pickups.
Hmm.
So I learned about placement of them, where you put them, how it changes the sound.
So you kind
Um,
of channeled Bootsy.
Dude, I'm channeling Bootsy hardcore, and there's two pickup mics on it as well. So there's 8 outputs. So you strum the thing, and there are 6 pickups and 2 microphones picking it up. So it sounds fucking massive.
Okay, because
It's
that
crazy.
we'll play a clip in a second. Because like my my fancy vinyl copy will be showing up shortly from the
Yes, it
Kickstarter.
will. Yes, it
But
will.
I have been listening to the MP3s, and like I'm listening to it like the how do I say it? The sonic quality of this is like nuts. Like I'm like thinking other things are happening in the room, like in my when I'm listening to it, just because it's not all supposed to be coming from the speakers, if that makes sense. This is a we'll cut to a clip. This will be cut 7. So this my game is or this game is Steve. And we're back. Oop, not hypothetical. Yeah, Eric, my coworker from Unicode Machine says, "Give me a remix kit." Cool.
Dude.
Well, that sounds amazing. Um, uh,
So I just really quickly, I'm reading
yeah, go ahead.
Samuel. I hope I'm saying your name right in Twitch right now. So I didn't really know what the hell I was doing with the water bottle. I was just trying something and miking it up. But I was inspired by when the levee breaks, the Led Zeppelin story about how they recorded in a stairwell. They put the entire drum machine, the drum. That would be cool. They put the entire drum kit, John Bonham's drum kit, in the stairwell of a castle, and it was all stone. So it had this beautiful, beautiful slapback reverb. And when the levee breaks is a really classic drum loop because not only is it John Bonham, but it's the sound of a stairwell, and that's what it sounded like. Blah blah blah. So I wanted to emulate something like that.
Amazing. Well,
Then no, wait, there's more.
all right.
So not only was there crazy blaster beam going on, but there was also, I then sent that up to off to George Bykos, who's ANGELSPIT's guitarist.
Hey.
And he ran it through all his stuff. And like he's got amps and craziness. So we ran it through that stuff to make it sound rock and roll. But the cream on that sounds really rude. The finishing touch was Dave Nato from The Fourth Wall.
Oh, hey.
Well, they've actually got a track right now on MTV TV.
Woo!
And they're it's called I Bet You Will, and it's a great track. Dave is he used to play with the Anti-Nowhere League. He is like a punk rock drummer, as punk rock can get.
Okay.
And he is so good.
Huh.
And it's funny, we met in London after a show and we got talking and we kind of like hit it off. This is 10 years ago.
All right.
And it's always been, we've got to do something together. And I went back to him and I said, look, I'm doing this really. And it was funny that at that point of the recordings, it was very, very industrial, very cyberpunk. Mm-hmm. Then when Dave put his stuff onto it, it became beautifully rock. Okay. And then when the blaster beam on it, it was like, okay, this is something new. And it was all of those factors coming together. Cake. Yeah, it was the layer cake. So I've done layer cakes like that, but not like this.
Okay.
And because this is focused on ferocity.
Focused on ferocity. That's the
my
bumper
life.
Sticker.
Focused on ferocity.
Yeah. Well, speaking of MTV TV. MTV! Let's get into that before we forget. We read a spot last week for our mutual friend DJ Adam Baum. Let's tell us about Edidabababum and how we can help.
Okay, so I'm going to put this in the chat. So right now, right at this very minute, there is a raid train going on. It's a 42-hour raid train. There it is, and it's going to rock. And there are DJs from all over the world getting on helping Adam. Adam's got some medical issues. His disability and the American healthcare system has let him down, and we've got to look after him. Because Adam and Diana through MTV, well, not just because of that, it's because Adam's our mate, and we love him. But Adam and Diana through MTV TV have helped so many bands and helped so many people. And they've put so many people together through that channel. And the DJs are responding and everybody is responding. And there's a GoFundMe. Here's the GoFundMe. I want you to jump on that GoFundMe. And I want you to give to Adam. The money's going straight to him. ANGELSPIT is actually putting portion of all merch sales this week to Adam on the GoFundMe. But we've got to help him out. And even if you can't donate, I mean, even $5 or something, but even if you can't, just letting him know that you're with him, that you have solidarity with him in this really rough time. And also Diana, because Diana's going through, like, those two guys, there's going to be a movie about MTV TV one day, and it's like
unreal.
The health things that those two guys have got. Like, Diana is doing stuff while getting kidney dialysis.
Yeah,
it's like, it's crazy.
It's for the amount that they do, with the amount that they have to overcome quietly.
Yes,
it's crazy.
They are Mad Max warriors of industrial rock, which is, hardcore of hardcore. Like, we can all bitch about, whatever you want to bitch about, but I have two functioning kidneys and I'm not getting a quarter of my lung cut out.
Right.
So, dude,
While running a wildly successful
yeah,
industrial music
yeah,
video channel. That's
um,
been super helpful to not
yeah,
only the Gothsicles but Tiger Squawk Records.
yeah.
So thank you. And
And
go
well,
on. Sorry. And
once we're done here, we're gonna raid on over because at this moment it's DJ Triple E is playing at this moment, and then the raid trade. I don't know if we raid to Triple E or I think that Diana's there, so she's gonna help us
yeah, I
raid.
mean, depending on how long we go here, it'll be
Yeah,
that
yeah. All right, cool.
Mona one.
But
Um,
that's today and that's this weekend. And jump on. It's great. Adam, he was DJing yesterday, and he was doing his retro
mm.
rumpus. Awesome! It was so good. And we just came out of Mike the Liar from Video Punks, and he did a whole set that was live using a little thingy this big. One of those little boss loopy things.
That's amazing.
Oh, he was incredible. And it was fast. It was great. And the whole thing was this tiny little box.
That's amazing.
And it's like, dude, that is great.
Shout out to New England.
Yeah, right. And I tell you, man, that has really inspired me that I want to, because Ice Planet 9000 does live things. I want to do more of them. And they're fun because I'm floating through space and it's all very, Tangerine Dream, Beach Jean-Michel Jarre, blah, blah, blah. And it's all very floaty wafty and it's great. But I really want to do some Angel Spit ones. And I want to do them specifically using the Emaxes. Like, it's really, it's something, and I just saw Mike set and I went, oh man, I got to do this. Because Mike's been on my case going, dude, you've got to do this. And it's like,
okay,
man,
so there's a couple things to do there. Shout out to the Liar. We will get into Ice Planet in just a second because that is very exciting. We'll do that raid when we're done here. Now you're doing an Angel Spit set live. I missed the plot of what you're now doing live.
I think, I want to get back into doing the Ice Planet 9000 live shows because they're fun and it's an improv.
Yeah.
But I really want to do Angel Spit improv shows, like
Angel Spit improv.
Yeah. Okay. Can I
Cool.
probably sit at 140 the whole time, and can I fuck with shit? What can I do here?
Yes.
Because like I've got this room full of friggin' gear, and the modular. I've got a modular over there that is 3 foot wide and 7 foot tall, and I'm patching. I'm still a month in. I'm still patching everything together, and I've just been going. I'm
a month
not
into your new house.
Yeah, month into the new apartment, and I'm not utilizing what I have, and I'm not Saturday mornings we do a thing called Art of Rock where we have a Zoom session and we all sit around, we talk about the process of making music, and it's awesome.
For the audience, if you wanted to join that, you would go do so through your Patreon.
Yes, but it's also on Angel Spit's Twitch too, which I don't have here because I suck.
That's okay. You can find him on Twitch, but hey, rent doesn't pay itself. Get on that.
That's
Patreon.
the truth. And yes, Angel Spit's Patreon. Thank you. But and we always come down to the thing about you are allowed to have fun. Because so many musicians don't, and that was the thing about the Bastard Gods is that the process of making music these days has become so streamlined, and so because everything's all very TikTok, which is something we should talk about.
Yeah, I have it down here. Yeah.
All right. Everything has become so streamlined that it's taken the fun out of it. Like the whole, what the fuck am I doing? Gee, I don't know. Where does this path lead? I don't know. Because, with music, you've got to remember the thing you do is play. And play means going into a sandpit and playing, mucking about as a kid. That's what you've got to do with music. And with the Art of Rock, we're always coming up that you've got to play. you have permission to play. And with this new album, with Angel Spit's The Bastard Guides, it was, um, we're playing now. This is
Mm.
me playing. This is me doing all of this stuff, working on Emaxs. It takes probably 10 times longer to do anything on an Emax
Yeah.
than it does on soft synths. Like you said, it's a laborious task. But in that laborious task, you get to reflect on what you're doing. You get to think about what you're doing.
Fascinating.
It's meditation kind of when it works. Um, but and that's something that's really lacking, I think, from my personal music process, is that I'm now allowing myself to spend more time on fucking around, and it's
All right.
great fun.
Pause that for just 1 second because no conversation with Carl uh, takes place without 18 tangents that you could. Uh, I mean, but that's because they're so fascinating. Like, if you remember those choose your own adventure books from back in the day, there'd be like two choices. Every page with Carl's like, okay, you have 18 pages. Uh, you could play. I just want to do a quick flyby because our mutual buddy Aaron, the Grim Reaper himself, is in the chat room. That's very exciting for me. Um, I wanted to do a flyby real quick before I forgot. Uh, no Brian Carl conversation would be complete without at least a mention of Hardcore Pong,
Yeah,
um, which is still available. We're very proud of it. That's the work we did together. And I remember hearing for the first time the remix that Adam Bomb did for Pong and just holding on to whatever I could find.
yeah,
That thing is a beast. So I just wanted to do. Not only is he a DJ, he's an amazing remixer in his own
oh
right.
yeah,
So check out
yeah.
Adam Bomb's remix work.
And also,
Um,
like, we've got Aaron here, Grim Reaper, and Reaper was in Hardcore Pong. Like, he did a track, and I'm actually working with the Reaper crew now to
mhm.
do a series of short horror called Bet
Oh
Noir.
my God! Oh,
And yeah, that's
cool.
on Spotify, and we're hopefully going to be kickstarting that soon. And it's great. They're
Yes.
great stories about hell and all of these different concepts of hell and ravens, and it's and I've done all the music under it, and it's just great working with Bet Noir. Over to you, Brian.
Yeah. I've just sponsored the show, but you should watch either way. The Grim Reaper stuff has really just been talk about a product forged through persistence. That guy just did
Yeah,
not give up, and it's the best. It's the best it's ever been. That
yeah,
product.
yeah.
Check out Grim Reaper for Hire on Patreon. Ice Planet 9000. Awesome stuff, man. You have a
Thanks.
side project.
Oh, I know, isn't it great? Fuck you.
So tell me about Ice Planet. That's the right answer. Tell me about Ice Planet 9000.
It started with a very good friend Brent, who used to do merch for a whole bunch of bands. And Steve and some other. This is Steve in Australia who fixes synthesizers and is the Rock Supreme Jedi Master of rock and roll. So I'm going to name drop. I don't like name dropping, but I'm going to name drop. Steve Jones, aka Agent 13, has fixed everyone's keyboards, and he is the only person who I know of who Bowie crossed the room to shake his hand.
Get the fuck out. That's
Yeah,
cool.
you can't get higher than that.
Ooh,
And
that like I'm like got chills. That's awesome.
yeah, and he's a really calm, gentle, nice guy. Who knows? He owns a CS80, which is the holy grail of
Okay.
synthesizers.
Okay.
He's just a wonderful guy, and he's my mentor. Brent is also one of my mentors. And Brent, who is always into merchandising, and
Mhm.
he's into the, making something alive, fun, and cool.
Mm.
And Brent once came to me and he said, "What would happen if Angel Spit wasn't 4, 8, and 16, but it was like Fibonacci numbers or prime numbers?"
What a great pitch.
Yeah, and what if it wasn't red, black, and white, but it was soft blue, soft green, soft turquoise, and the black of space?
Mm.
And we got talking, and then this concept arose, and then the music came out of it. And the concept is about Ice Planet 9000's first album, Sequence One Glass Jar, is about a super tanker that goes looking for water, and the guy on board who mines the water um, uncovers this ancient ziggurat.
Wow, it's
And
so good.
yeah, and as he's doing this, the water melts, and there is life in the water. There is a life force in the water itself. He becomes enlightened, and he moves into a new space, into a new dimension. He gets absorbed into the water. There's actually this whole story that goes with it that we're still trying to finish it, but get it out there like as an audiobook, but
Holy shit.
it's been kind of crazy. Like there's at the end, he talks about there's a drop of sweat that falls into the palm of his hand, and he looks into it, and he can see galaxies inside the
Oh
drop of
my
sweat.
god, it's a
And
movie.
he keeps going into it, and he sees himself looking up, and then there's the drop of sweat, and he keeps going into it, keeps going into it. But we are about to do sequence 2. And
Ah,
sequence 2 is going to be on CD. We're going to be kickstarting it probably early next year. There's 11 tracks. It goes for just under 80 minutes, which is the maximum. Thank you, Diana. It's the maximum size of the that a CD can handle. And we're
he's a
coming up with
machine.
some really cool merch concepts and concepts that are driving the entire thing that I won't go into it too much, but it sets off beautifully from where the last one worked out. And if you see the Ice Planet 9000 videos that have happened for the first couple of tracks, they're telling the story of what happened. Because
Unreal.
it's a beautiful a sequence 1 was a whole bunch of beautiful vinyl that
Mm.
came with it, and this put together ziggurat and all this stuff that you could put together, and that was part of the story about what happened. But now sequence 2 stories
I'm.
happen. Sequence 2 is going to tell that one, and then sequence 3 is telling that one,
Oh, we're getting
and
two
they're
and
probably going to
three.
we're getting I think there's going to be 6 at this
Oh
stage.
god, I love
um
sequence one so much. I
right.
trip out.
Yeah, well,
Uh, go on. Sorry.
oh well. What's great about sequence 1 is that Steve in Australia, who fixes the synths, I sent him stuff and he ran it through the synths, and he had a dream selection of synthesizers that everything got run through. And I think every classic great synthesizer is represented on that album. ARP 2500, ARP 2600, Memory Moog 55, Modular, Jupiter 8, CS80, CS60, CX70, um, and VCS 3s. Like every great to die
Wow.
for
Well,
synthesizer is Emulator 2, Emulator
me just
1.
as a listener loves
Yeah,
that album. It's a comic book in and of itself. The artwork on it is to die for.
and that's Walt Watts. Fucking genius. I'm sorry, go on.
And I was just going to say for the listener, just at a high level, it sounds awesome. I mean, that's how I experienced it. It sounds great, but like I didn't know there was such a museum involved in it. So if
Yeah,
you're a
yeah, there's
synthesist at all, uh,
yeah. Well,
incredible
and what's
stuff.
great about it is that everyone involved in the project is madly passionate about, like, Brent's thing is horror. So
Okay,
it doesn't just have it's not just an album. There's
yeah.
something going on.
Well,
Like,
I want to put a pin in it there if we could because it's out now. We gotta push Bastard Gods a bit because
yes.
that's what we're concentrating on. But before we get into any of that, I have to know. This is like a me thing. I'm just going to like smash cut to features because I'm excited. So check it out, dude. I know you're a frequent guest on the show, but we now have fancy titles. So hypothetical spectacle is. Where we actually let's not do hypothetical spectacle yet. I fucked up. Let's do radiation round. It would be called lightning round, but lightning is exceedingly rare in space, so it's the radiation round. No wrong answers. Say whatever you want. What's the best food group?
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
Dark chocolate. Karl Heinz Stockhausen, Jean-Michel Jarre, Wendy Carlos, other.
Jean-Michel Jarre.
Jarre. and
Or early Vangelis, who everyone
or early
forgets early
Vangelis.
Vangelis and late Vangelis. They just go, Blade Runner, Blade Runner. But all of
Okay,
this other amazing stuff happened. Like, that guy is the most craziest jazz piano player. I'm sorry, back to you, Brian.
great answer. That's perfect. Um, and we'll round out with what's the best thing about Cracker Barrel?
Having it with you and Matthew on tour.
So from the top, we have the best food group is dark chocolate, jar, rivaled only by early to mid Vangelis, and the best thing about Cracker Barrel is eating it on tour with me and Liam Howlett. Or no, Liam Bowie. I forgot.
No, Liam, Idol.
Liam Idol. Liam
Yeah,
Idol.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he'll kill us for that.
Oh God, some British person with the first name Liam. Inside Jokerooskies. Now let's do hypothetical spectacle. This is sort of where we like distill your essence down into like Angel Spit, the '80s movie, or like Angel Spit, fucking the dinette set. I was thinking it'd be fun because we've sort of like kind of gotten into this world a little bit, but like Angel Spit, the comic book, like would like you take over the world, or would it just be like that Ice Planet 9000 story? I was thinking if you were like a superhero, would you fight? Would your nemesis be Captain Complacency because you've just had this motor in you since I've known you, since that coffee shop in Chicago?
I actually wrote a comic book and it never got
Did
published.
you really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And
Because I had that opportunity and I completely fucked it up and I never did it. I met that guy later and it's all good, but I didn't know you wrote a comic book. That's awesome.
yeah. Well, it was we were working on this idea for a comic book and it was post Holocaust and it was this very weird it actually got covered in some Angel Spit lyrics. The concept was it was a poison, a toxin that was smeared on money. And when
Wow.
money came into contact with each other, this toxin, which was fungal, grew. It grew onto each dollar bill that it was touching. So as you touched it, it was absorbing into your skin, and it basically turned you kind of into a zombie, for want of a better terms.
Wow.
And what people were doing is they were carving a hole in their head, putting a bee in it, or a wasp, and then putting a glass dome over it. So the wasp was interfacing with your brain and you were being controlled by wasps. It was pretty bent.
Wow.
And there was a there was a roller derby group who missed a female roller derby troupe who were practicing during the time of infestation. So they didn't get affected. And there were a few other people who didn't get affected. So it became this Mad Max roller derby group who were basically destroying New York City, trying to figure out what the hell happened and trying to get out of New York.
I'm subscribing. I'm subscribing to issue 1. That sounds amazing.
And they were roller derbying, they were rollerblading, they were skating over cars and stuff like that and skating off buildings and stuff like that.
Oh,
but
kick ass.
And the people with the bees, so the bee people were like the zombie,
right?
Like, you know, they were figuring out how to fly, so they were actually gaffing things together and sewing things onto their body so they could fly, or putting tubes into their lungs so their lungs were filling airbags and stuff, so they were starting to fly, and it was all very weird.
Oh, I love. Oh,
it's very Angel Spit, I guess.
No, I mean, not only did you do the impossible and make me excited about zombies again in 2023. That's incredible. Oh God, did you knock that question out of the park?
Yeah, but I didn't make it.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. But you got to it for no matter what happens, you still had a great segment here on Space Couch. So like you got a great basement. I would love to see that take place. One thing I would like to we like to get a little cosmic, pardon the pun, here in Space Couch, and you've always been kind kind of a more adept macro thinker than me. But I was having this weird concept, and I don't. This isn't a greatly formed thought, so maybe help me get there. But like, what do you think the function of music is currently? Meaning, like, when I like in like middle school or whatever, like for me it started out like this therapeutic thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna put on like Helmet or Nine Inch Nails and be like, "Fuck you, Dad!" Just like get mad, and then it became like really this very much like identity sort of like band shirt thing, like, yo, I like Planet Damage, y'all, or whatever, and that's it's still very much a part of it. Now I feel like it's almost like I make this so I can have something in the back of my TikTok video. Like it's
Yeah.
become something else, and I don't know if I'm articulating that well.
Okay,
Or
no, beautifully, beautifully. So music seems to always be the sponge of the things of revolution.
oh shit! Oh my
Like,
god!
well, I mean, like
Fuck.
when vinyl came out, when tapes came out, people were going, "Oh, it's piracy; they're going to steal it." But it turned,
Okay.
it helped. Then when CDs came out, it's like, "Oh, it's the end of quality," and butter, butter, butter. And then when Napster came out, it was like, "Okay, that's it, we're done."
Oh
But the funny
wow.
thing about Napster is it paved the way for a process that, sure, it changed music, but all of those little people who weren't going to get signed and weren't going to get
Mm.
anything because back in the 90s and stuff, if you weren't signed, you didn't exist.
That
Now
was.
you don't. Yeah, you don't need to be signed to exist. In fact,
I don't think
don't be
people know
signed.
what getting. God damn it! For the listener, because we have some younger people in the audience. If you were like Carl and I are of a similar vintage,
We're
it,
both 23.
we're both 23. The concept of getting signed was like
Yeah,
everything, and
yeah.
now I don't even think it's gone out the window with the like a landline telephone. Like people
Yeah,
just
yeah.
it's
And when,
it's
when bands come to me saying I want to get signed, I say don't get signed. They're going to take half of your earnings, half of everything, and they're not going to do a fucking
yeah,
thing for
like
that
for
money.
what to get your CD in Best Buy?
Yeah, no, they won't even do that. They will
Like
not even do that. Anyway, and if they do DJ campaigns, and that's the great thing about Tiger Squawk and Black Pill, Red Pill, Tiger Squawk is that we are a
yeah.
collective. We are a band collectors where everybody is helping out each other. And by the way, I love that
Mm-hmm.
Planet Damage shirt. I need to get one.
Yay.
Anyway, so what happened is that when Napster turned up, it basically fucked everything. But from the ashes, a phoenix rose, and that phoenix allowed bands that no one's heard about to get income. Unfortunately, now it's there was a golden age of the whole
Mm.
digital distribution thing where small bands were making it, it was okay, but now Sony and everybody else has stepped in and really doing everything they can to fuck small bands again. The thing about TikTok and Instagram and all of these things is it's just a delivery service. That's all it is. And now what they're delivering is short chunks of your music or short chunks of whatever. And also, predominantly, we are blessed in that our market don't subscribe to this bullshit.
Mm.
Predominantly,
Mm-hmm.
predominantly, our market, regardless of the age, because there has been a massive influx of youth, and I welcome every single one of you with open arms into the goth industrial darkwave community. Like the club I go to in Hollywood on Wednesday nights, half of the people are under 30 easily.
That's awesome.
Pre-pandemic, no one was under 35.
Mm.
No one.
Indust- Industrial DJ says it was all interesting timing too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why pre-pandemic? Uh, no one
I don't
under
know.
35.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think Wednesday Adams on Netflix had a bit to do with it. Certain, like seriously, I think it did.
Probably. Yeah.
Certain things pushed people into that more. I know our community was very strong on Twitch, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about it is that TikTok is just a delivery service, and ultimately, music has a higher holy purpose. It brings our community together. It keeps you together. It keeps your brain together. It is a meditative, spiritual / religious thing that you go through. And
Wow.
your the bands you like are, for want of a better term, the priest, the holy persons who are
Uh-huh.
helping you find that place. You can find it yourself. Um, and the thing to remember is that our community will always back Kickstarters. They will always get albums. They will always support you. They
Mm.
will always buy your stuff on Bandcamp, and then they will always listen to it on Spotify. So please don't bag Spotify or
So
any.
so TikTok is a musical chick tract. Like it's just
Yeah,
getting the religious pamphlet.
yeah. But remember, if your stuff gets played on TikTok, and that's including you and all the bands you do, because all your stuff is registered through Tiger Squawk through your agitator, you're getting paid.
Yeah.
And it might be a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a cent, but you're still getting paid. Which is more to say than any other thing that has come before it. Because now, um, those fractions of fractions of fractions of cents are adding up,
Yeah.
and it's helping musicians.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it's cool.
it's
Pretty
very, very,
cool.
very cool. And remember, if someone plays lists you, you're going to be on their playlist for a long time.
That's a great.
Yeah. So once again, yeah.
Wow.
So
I didn't think about that.
think about it. Remember, MySpace was possibly the greatest thing to happen to music. But you weren't getting paid. It was kind of pushing stuff to your well,
Right.
actually, it was pushing stuff to your purchasing really well, and it was doing amazing thing for live. But at the same time, people were just torrenting your stuff, and
Yeah,
you
and like
weren't getting a cent.
I think that the mindset was different at that time too, and especially in this like festival world,
Yeah,
like of like this work from home online world. Yeah, getting paid for plays is pretty cool. Pretty
and I remember clearly the day when AngelSpit Digitals overtook AngelSpit physical sales.
wow.
I remember it, and it was on the product. The album called The Product, which was
Like
90
apropos. Yeah.
yeah, right, 2014.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
remember talking to other bands when they said, "Oh yeah, it just happened to us. Our digitals have overtaken
all
our
the
physicals."
physicals.
And that was one time where I said, because back then you were signing label deals that were like 50-50, or
Uh-huh.
you got 20 or 30, they got 70 or 80.
Right.
And I was going, you're taking 30%, 70% of my digital royalties, but you're not doing anything. I can understand you taking that sort of cut for physical because there's a whole bunch of fucking
Mhm.
around involved in that. But I'm not seeing, and that was for me the beginning of when cracks started happening. But,
Well,
and I remember when Angel Spit used to print in the thousands of CDs, and we were unsigned, so we were printing them, and it was great. Then it was just 1,000. Then it was under 1,000. Then it was 500, and then
mhm.
it was under 500.
Yeah.
Um, and now it's more tapes and vinyls.
Mhm.
Um,
Well,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, check it out because we do got to bring this flying couch back on into the station. So I am, and I swear to God, there's a couch under here in these balls. But I'm gonna bring it back to your Kickstarter because that's yet another avenue for getting paid. And we have the Kickstarter's over now for
Yes.
Bastard Gods, but you can get the album. It's amazing. Sometimes called the Star.
I've gone with the
Inspired.
Bastard Gods, but I'm sorry, go ahead.
We well just because you and I talked about this, we were on the phone trying to come up with a
Oh, yes,
Zardazing
we did. We did.
on of trying to clean up, if you will, the bastard gods, and if you blot out certain letters, you get the star, so that yeah, you may see the album sometimes billed as such. Get the bastard gods. It. I know I say this for every time, but it is my new favorite Spit album. Um, it's a beast. I wouldn't even call it industrial. I mean, it's literally industrial music, but there's just so much going on. You just kind of be like, I don't even know where to put this in my head.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll just be quick. I
yeah.
was greatly inspired by Skinny Puppy's Two Dark Park.
Okay, that makes sense.
And the thing about Two Dark Park is when you hear it initially, you go, "What the fuck is this?"
Right.
But then on repeated listens, you warm to that track and that track. And then on repeated listens, now you that one and that one. And as you listen to more of it, the songs, the bitterness of them makes way for taste. It's like cocoa, 100% cocoa, or a really hot curry.
That's
Um,
amazing.
there's taste under the discomfort.
Did I ever
Um,
tell you in sixth grade, the only thing I had on my locker, because you got a locker you got to decorate, on my inside door was the CD long box of Two
Two
Dark
Dark
Park.
Park. Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god!
I hadn't thought about that in
I've got
fucking 30
I had
years.
the long box as well.
That's amazing.
Dude, you're hardcore.
Back at you. I wasn't cool enough. It was my friend's brother had the long box he was going to throw away, and I took it. I didn't have the CD, I just had the box. I mean,
Wow.
I copied it on the tape because, I was fucking 12, but, yeah, I wasn't cool enough to find it on my own. It was,
You were listening
late.
to Two Dark Park age 12.
Yeah, not a lot, to be honest, because I was more, the Metallica Black album had just
Great
dropped,
album.
which
Yeah.
that nuclear bomb fallout
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
lasted for 20 years. But I did have, and I think it this weird I know what industrial music is. I just the concept of it was introduced to me at a fairly early age, I think. But that's just me. We check out the upcoming not only Ice Planet 9000 movie, but insane B zombie 10-part space epic stuff with this Sig Von Rock. Most importantly, second only to well, we'll say Bastard Gods is a close number two. Right now, we're going to focus on the 42-hour raid for our buddy DJ Adam Bomb. In just a few minutes, you're going to want to go check out DJ Mones1 or Monesi. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. But on twitch.tv, DJ MONES, Arabic numeral 1.
Um, and
Closing thoughts.
Okay, yeah. Throw money at Adam. That's it. And I'm going to put the GoFundMe in here again. And you know what? If you want to get the Bastard Guys, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. But you can stream it for free. Right now, we got to help Adam. So I just put the GoFundMe link in there. I want you to help our friend because he has kept so many people going, and now it's our turn to help him. So with solidarity, we stand by you, Adam, and we're throwing money at you like you're our favorite stripper.
This is Brian for Space Couch for Zoog for an amazing episode of Space Couch with ANGELSPIT. God, I love you. It's been for the listener, I'll do a little bit of inside baseball without too much. You and I have been through a lot recently. You're my brother. I would not have made it without you.
Yeah, same, man.
So thank you for all your help on that whole thing. We'll see you on another episode because you and I are tied at the hip. This is Brian for Couch, for Carl for ANGELSPIT, saying call the spaceship to Davenport, prepare for Divanarchy, interface with Captain Space. See you on the DJ Mones1 Twitch channel. Rating
Rock!
now.
Raid!
And we are in the outro. Dude, amazing episode. I let us talk over the yes, raid. Yeah, I could. I mean, we're not just a podcast, but
we should start a podcast.
Just hand. Oh shit! All right, stay tuned for the Tangents podcast coming soon. Tiger Squawk.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be called "What We Talking About Again."
Oh my God, damn it! That's the name of it. That's the name of it. What were we talking about again? Coming soon to